The Arise News Across Africa report continues with Arise News contributor Frankie Edozien. Hey, Frankie.
Hey, Debbie.
How are you?
Good evening.
I said this off camera. I'm going to say it on camera. Love the tie.
Oh,
Love the
thank
pop
you.
of red. Yeah.
It's for World AIDS
Day.
Day.
You got the pop of red memo today. That's right. That's a good reason to wear it. Okay, so let's get started. Lots to talk about. Let's talk about an update on Ebola. Of course, ground zero, literally West Africa. Particularly Sierra Leone seems to be struggling with containing it.
Really struggling. And they've pointed the reason why Sierra Leone is having such difficulty because people there are having difficulty not touching people when they bury them. You know, Liberia has been through this. Guinea is still struggling with that, but in Sierra Leone, burial rights, which are fundamental to African people, is very difficult to say, don't touch them. So unsafe burials are what's causing the numbers to go up in Sierra Leone. Doctors Without Borders is building a new facility so that they can contain more people who are infected with this. The World Health Organization has already said they're going to lose their target of getting 70% of people contained with this virus because too many people are being buried, and once they get sick, they're not being brought immediately. There's still an element of denial. Over in Guinea, where they had the outbreak of the virus in the first place, their president right now is micromanaging everything in a way that he wasn't before because he's now saying that this is really not something that's made up for donors. These are real people, and real people are dying. And then we found out that it's, you know, December 6th will be the year anniversary of this Ebola outbreak. Most people took note in July or August, but it actually began almost a year ago. And what we're seeing is that the World Bank is now saying this is going to cost those three countries $33 billion.
Wow, that's mind-blowing. And those cultural biases or traditions are so difficult to get over to contain.
I mean, you just can't say, let's put somebody in the ground without giving our final farewells and touching them, which is a really big problem. One thing that we've seen is that Ebola is very quick in the host. It really kills people really fast. So even when people are denying and not sure that their kids have Ebola or not, it works very quickly. Unlike HIV, which we're talking about today, which can take years before you even see a symptom. Right. And so changing all of that and saying if someone really is sick, get them to a facility and do the test is also an issue in Sierra Leone right now.
Yeah, got to figure out a way to address that appropriately. Let's move on to another story we've been reporting on since Arise News has existed, and that is the violence brought on by extremist Boko Haram.
Yes.
What's the update there? It seems like there's a new attack every day.
Well, this past weekend was really difficult for Nigeria. Second largest city, which is Kano, an ancient city in which the Emir of Kano, who was the former governor of the central bank, Lamido Sanusi, he had already told Muslim Nigerians that, look, if government's not protecting you, you can take up arms against Boko Haram. This seemed to be a target on him because the bombs exploded at the mosque where he worships. He was not there. He was doing a Hajj, which is like a pilgrimage in Saudi Arabia at the time, but scores of people were dead. Nigerians were reeling from that all weekend, and then this morning, there were two attacks in two separate cities. One in Maiduguri, another ancient city, which is actually the home of Boko Haram, but it's also an ancient Muslim city, and another one in Damataru, in which there were militants who were shooting at the Air Force planes that was there to protect the city. So now they have anti-aircraft missiles. And so Nigerians in the northeast part of the country have had 3 days of bomb shelling and attacks and scores of people being killed. I have a feeling that this is going to continue up until February because that's when the elections are. President Goodluck Jonathan, he gives statements, but pretty much he's continued campaigning as if this is just one area that we're going to eventually contain. And it seems as if Boko Haram is saying, we don't have respect for traditional rulers, but we don't have any respect for secular rulers as well. And so until their needs are met, whatever those are, the killing campaign will continue.
Yeah, it's just a tragedy. It's a heartbreaking situation. We're going to move on to Kenya, to East Africa. They've halted adoptions?
International adoptions. Unfortunately, with everything that Kenya has gone through, they have now made the list of a place where they are a source, a destination, and a transit point for human trafficking. Uhuru Kenyatta on Thursday saw this report and he did not like it and called a cabinet meeting and said, well, how do we stop human trafficking through our borders? We can only control what we can. And so they have immediately said no more international adoptions. Now, we know that people who are looking for children, they have, you know, it's very difficult to go through an international adoption, and when you do find a child that you like. And in Kenya, there have been lots of families who have gone there to try and adopt and have been successful at it. Unfortunately, other things have fallen through the cracks because people posing as people doing adoption have sold children. At least these are the allegations anyway. And so President Kenyatta has said, as of right now, Kenya will not participate in international adoptions. Any adoptions will be by Kenyan families.
Okay, let's move forward to our last one, less than a minute to talk about.
Sure.
Winnie Mandela has popped up in the news again, contesting the estate of Nelson Mandela.
Yes, she wants the house in Kunu, which was the ancestral home that he has bequeathed to his family in perpetuity. That is a village home that was given to her by way of giving to him when he was in prison. So she actually did get the deed for that. But what she is saying is that that property does not belong to the Mandela family, but to her alone. The problem is that the government is saying we cannot do this, we're going to fight this, because there was a divorce in 1996, a dissolution of the marriage, and the property that she got at that time, she should have contested that in 1996, not in 2014.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. There always seems to be some sort of dispute when it comes to family.
Well, Mrs. Mandela has a strong following, so anything she says, people do listen. So,
All right, we'll leave it at that for now. Frankie Edozien, as always, thank you very much.
thank you, Debbie.
See you next week.
All righty.
That's going to do it for us today. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow for another edition of Arise America. I'm Debbie Turner-Bell. Have a good one.